this country was built on the principle, on the ideal that our kids would have a better life than we did, and their kids would have a better life than we did.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen.
That's no longer happening.
Okay, if you keep asking the question, then I'll move on over
five
here.
actions at the GOP in Cleveland. What is your number one priority in the budget?
My number one priority is reigniting the promise of America's
We
change.
had a great November.
That reality that so many Americans are afraid their kids will not have a better life. And how do we do
Today,
that?
for us
We do that through bringing back jobs and growth and opportunity. And that occurs through tax reform and regulatory reform, through repealing Obamacare and adopting a simple flat tax where every American can fill out his or her taxes on a postcard. That occurs through defending our constitutional rights. Instead of the federal government targeting the constitutional rights of Americans, targeting our free speech, targeting our religious liberty, we need a federal government that defends the Bill of Rights for all of us. And we also reignite the promise of America through restoring America's leadership in the world. Right now, today, our friends and allies, they don't trust us, and our enemies don't fear us. We need strong American leadership in the world, and that is exactly what this campaign is all about.
Other questions, your reaction to
I finished it this morning.
Well, look, the scandals with Hillary Clinton seem to pile up higher and higher and higher, and it is a real problem when the Democratic frontrunner appears to be the target of a major felony investigation by the U.S. Department of Justice. That is a significant problem. It is a significant problem when the Democratic frontrunner, as Secretary of State, was depositing millions of dollars in her foundation, millions of dollars in their personal checking account for speaking fees for her husband while she was Secretary of State. That is a level of corruption that is really stunning. It used to be not a controversial statement to say that the Secretary of State of the United States should not be on the take receiving millions of dollars for foreign nations. And I'll tell you what I think the general election is going to be about. We're going to win this general election running a populist campaign on behalf of hardworking men and women across this country against the bipartisan corruption of Washington. And nobody embodies that bipartisan corruption more than Hillary Clinton, who is a creature of Washington, of wealth and privilege. And we need to take power out of Washington. We need to bring it back to the American people.
Right.
Thank you.
Senator.
Here it comes.
Thank you.
Got a handshake. What?
Cruz, Mr. President. God bless the great state of Arkansas.
Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am, I did.
I am thrilled to be here with so many incredible patriots who are standing up to turn this country around.
Thank you, thank you.
That sign's fantastic, by the way. Unfriend Iran. I am thrilled to be here with so many strong conservatives, so many men and women who understand the incredible promise that is our great nation. You know, last Thursday night in Cleveland, we had kind of a quiet evening. What an incredible array of talent was on that stage. How terrific is it to have so many young, dynamic, inspirational leaders stepping up to lead the Republican Party in the United States of America. And what a contrast with the Democrats. You know, I'm pretty sure the Democratic debate is going to consist of Hillary Clinton and the Chipotle clerk.
You can go to his websites and see his...
Now, actually, that's not fair. That's not fair. We can't forget about Bernie Sanders. So now the Democratic field consists of a wild-eyed socialist with ideas that are dangerous for America and the world, And Bernie Sanders. And it seems like the Democrats, they've just decided they're not going to have a debate. They keep moving it later and later. It's going to be October. It's going to be November. They may just move it to 2017. You know, actually, they had planned to have an early Democratic debate. The problem was the debate invitation was emailed to Hillary. All of us are here today because we understand America's in crisis. We are bankrupting our kids and grandkids. We are seeing the federal government assaulting our constitutional rights each and every day. And we have seen America recede from leadership in the world. And yet I'm here today with a word of hope, a word of optimism, a word of exhortation and encouragement. All across Arkansas, all across this country, Americans are waking up. And let me tell you something. Help is on the way. So I want to ask everyone here to look forward. Look forward to January 2017. If I'm elected president, let me tell you about the first day in office. My first day in office, the first thing I intend to do is rescind I will instruct the Federal Department of Education that Common Core ends today. In the days that follow, we will rebuild our military and we will stand by the promises made to our soldiers and sailors and airmen and Marines. And we will allow our servicemen and women to exercise their right to keep and bear arms and to defend themselves. Here in Russellville, we're all mourning the loss of Staff Sergeant David Wyatt.
Yeah.
Who was murdered by the face of radical Islamic terrorism in Chattanooga, Tennessee. Those are words this president refuses to utter. I visited the memorial to those 4 Marines and that sailor who was murdered there. I visited the recruitment center and saw the bullet holes in the walls, in the door frame, in the television that is riddled with bullet holes. We cannot defeat radical Islamic terrorism as long as we have a president unwilling to utter the words, radical Islamic terrorism. And we need a commander-in-chief that makes clear to young militants across the face of the globe, if you go and join forces with ISIS, if you take up arms and wage jihad against America, then you are signing your death warrant. In the days that follow, we will finally secure the borders and end sanctuary cities. And we will stop the Obama administration's indefensible policies releasing violent illegal alien criminals into the general population. In the days that follow, I will go to Congress and we will pass fundamental tax reform adopting a simple flat tax. Where every American can fill out his or her taxes on a postcard. And when we do that, we should abolish the IRS. There are about 90,000 employees at the IRS. We need to padlock that building. Take all 90,000 and put them down on our southern border. Come on! Now, to our friends in the media, I say that somewhat tongue-in-cheek. But if you think about it, sir, imagine you traveled thousands of miles in the blazing sun. You're swimming across the Rio Grande. And the first thing you see is 90,000 IRS agents. You turn around and go home too.
That's pretty good for you.
Now listen, some of y'all may be thinking, all of this makes sense. Basic common sense. Live within your means. Don't bankrupt your kids and grandkids. Follow the Constitution. But can it be done? You know, Scripture tells us there's nothing new under the sun.
That's right.
That's Homeland Security calling. They're worried about us. Because we are indeed seeking the peaceful overthrow of the United States government.
That's what he thinks.
Scripture tells us there's nothing new under the sun, and I think where we are today is very, very much like the late 1970s. The parallels between Barack Obama and Jimmy Carter are uncanny. Same failed domestic policy, same misery, stagnation, and malaise. The same feckless and naive foreign policy. In fact, the exact same countries, Russia and Iran, openly laughing at and mocking the President of the United States.
See you, John.
You know, there's only one person in America thrilled with the job Barack Obama's doing. It's Jimmy Carter. Now, why is it that that analogy gives me so much hope and optimism? Because we know how the story works. All across this country, there was a grassroots movement. Millions of men and women rose up and became the Reagan Revolution. And it didn't come from Washington. Washington despised Ronald Reagan. If you see a candidate who Washington embraces, run and hide. It came from the American people, and it turned this nation around. We went from misery and stagnation and malaise to booming economic growth. Millions of Americans lifted out of poverty into prosperity in the American dream. We went from our hostages languishing in Iran to winning the Cold War and tearing the Berlin Wall to the ground. The reason I'm so optimistic is simple. The same thing is happening again. All across the state of Arkansas, all across this country, people are waking up. We are rising up from the people. Let me ask something. Everyone who is under 30, raise your hands. Take a look around. Take a look around. That's why I'm optimistic. That's the future of Arkansas and the future of this country. And we are rising up like the Reagan Revolution to turn this country around. Arkansas is going to play a key role in the Republican presidential nomination. The calendar has been accelerated. We'll start, as we always do, with Iowa, New Hampshire, South Carolina. Those states are critically important. We are all in
in Iowa, New Hampshire, South Carolina. We got phenomenal teams there. But 10 days after South Carolina, boom, it's Super Tuesday. It's a so-called SEC primary. We've been doing a bus tour all across the South, all across the SEC primary. Let me tell you, look, Arkansas and Texas, we agree on just about everything, except football. But I'll tell you, the role that Arkansas and the other SEC primary states are going to play is we're going to ensure the next Republican nominee for president is a real and genuine conservative. That's the only way we win. Every time we nominate Democrat light, we lose. We can't do it again. So I want to ask each of you three things. Number one, I ask you to join us. We are building a grassroots army from the people. I ask every one of you to volunteer, to help lead. We've got a fantastic statewide leadership team here in Arkansas. I ask every one of you to volunteer and lead in your county and your precinct on the ground. The second thing I would ask each and every one of you to do is go online to our website, tedcruz.org. 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 Go online and contribute. Now, some of y'all perhaps have the means to max out. If you can, God love you. We need the resources, and I promise you we will use it to continue communicating our conservative message. But every person here can contribute something. Can contribute $10 or $25 or $50. And I'll tell you the biggest reason that matters. Because when you do that, then you have skin in the game. Then you're invested. Then it's not my campaign, it's your campaign. And that's the third thing I would ask, is that every one of you pray. Pray for me, pray for Heidi and our girls, and pray for our nation that we stand up and wake up and bring this country back. I want to close with this. For all of us, freedom is not some abstract concept that we read about in a school book. It's something that's real, that's personal, that's from our family. You know, for me, I think about my dad, Cruz. My father was born in Cuba. He grew up in Cuba. As a kid, he fought in the Cuban Revolution. He was thrown in prison as a teenager, and he was tortured in a Cuban jail. And my father fled Cuba in 1957. He came to America. He was 18. He couldn't speak English. He had $100 sewn into his underwear. He got a job washing dishes, made 50 cents an hour. He worked full-time, paid his way through school, went on with my mom to start a small business. Today, my father is a pastor. He travels the country preaching the gospel. When I was a kid, my dad used to say to me over and over again, when we faced oppression in Cuba, I had a place to flee to. If we lose our freedom here, where do we go? That is why each and every one of us is here. Because we are not prepared to go quietly into the night. We will not give up on our children and grandchildren. We will not give up on freedom. We will restore the Constitution. We will stand for the United States of America. God bless you.
There you go.
Are you out?
Have a good day. See you guys later. You're welcome, buddy.